Now, Pakistan has broken ceasefire treaty yesterday when it fired at the BSF along the line of control in Arnia sector in Jammu. 2 of our BSF jawans were injured. This comes in wake of the Hamas terror attack on Israel just 12 days ago. It is no coincidence that Pakistan has struck on our border, and it has happened around the same time Hamas has hit Israel. Pakistan is part of the evil axis whose strings are being pulled by China. Hamas in Gaza to polarize Israel and US in the Middle East, and puppeteering Pakistan to spread terror in Kashmir through terrorist infiltration and violating ceasefire along line of control have become the 2 points where China has been pushing Pakistan to hit India hard. Let's start this conversation. Joining me on the telecast is Major General Gigi Dwivedi. We can't take a look at these 2 incidents that have taken place. The war that is right now launched by Israel on Hamas, and the ceasefire violation that has been done by the Pakistani troops 3 years since there was a peace treaty that had been signed between both countries.
Absolutely, Megha. When we look at these issues, we cannot look in isolation. We have to look in totality, and not only the regional perspective, but rather in the global perspective. And I couldn't agree with you more that this is not a coincidence. I think it's a well-planned move, and we need to take it very seriously. I'd like to make a couple of points. First and foremost, since last about 2 years, the whole weight of Pakistan, insurgency, militancy, terrorism has shifted south of Punjab. Now the winters are coming, and this is a time when the lot of exchange of terrorists takes place, and willy-nilly, the areas closer to Punjab, Jammu, these are the areas which become very active. And second point is that Pakistan chooses the time, and it times also with the events which are in the regional context. And what has happened in Israel, and in fact, we have been covering this issue almost on daily basis, that this cannot be seen in isolation, this has to be seen in totality.
Right.
Third point is today, line of control and line of actual control cannot be seen in 2 different lenses. They need to be seen together, because when we are talking about China and Pakistan, we got to see them as one ally, one axis, and their movements, their activities are well synchronized. And you're right that China is one of the instigator catalysts in the movement of Pakistan. So therefore, all I can say in summary that we need to take this in a holistic manner, and there is definitely a game plan behind what has happened, why they violated the ceasefire, why the whole thrust is in the south, and we need to see China and Pakistan as one entity.
Yeah,
and therefore,
China and Pakistan is one entity, but Major Sudhakar ji, in terms of the larger scenario that is being played out in the Middle East now, there has been a concerted effort to alienate United States of America and Israel from the peace treaties that were being signed between the Arab states and Israel. There was in fact a treaty that was soon going to be signed between Saudi Arabia and Israel with regards to the 2-nation theory, or a 2-nation solution for giving land to the Palestinians to call them as their sovereign territory. Now, while that plan has been scuttled, there is also China playing a larger game with regards to bringing focus of America to Israel, shifting focus from the Ukraine war, and at the same time playing it out against India along the line of actual control and LoC. So again, there is an axis and an allies that have been formed, sorry to say, but that's what happened from the World War II. There is Russia, there is Iran, there's China, there's Qatar and allied nations. Then there is United States of America. We take a look at UK, we take a look at Canada, we take a look at France. And is India also slowly getting into these allied forces, if I may call them?
Megha, good evening. Thank you for getting me to your show. Many points you have made, and the time being limited, let me focus on to the basic issue that you have highlighted. Is India being made an ally? India is neither traditionally nor conceptually is acceptable to become an ally as per the existing norms and understanding of international relationship. Alliance has got a different meaning and connotation. Willy-nilly, there is a significant ingredient of military covert and overt support with the dependent stakeholders. So we put it aside. But there are other points which you have made, Megha, I must compliment you. The points which we are actually joining the dots, and I'm glad that NewsX is actually building up the narrative on joining the dots in a very comprehensive manner. Today, let's not see this incident of ceasefire violation only at Jammu in isolation. This is taking place in the IB. And we have a line of control which is 740 kilometers long and which is running due north towards Siachen Glacier. Why is it striking at the international border? Because they want to activate the international border. They want to actually render the sanctity of international border as null and void. That is the intention, and it is being done at behest of China, with China, which is playing the game of 36 strategism. Why is China playing the game of 36 strategism? It is playing because China does not want the global military alliances and powers to gravitate towards Indo-Pacific. Why is China not trying to prevent people coming to the Indo-Pacific? It is because China militarily, politically, economically is not in a stable situation to undertake or engage with any kind of conflict in the Indo-Pacific. Why is Indo-Pacific so important to China? It is important because 64% of its total trade is passing through South China Sea and the West Pacific. Majority of the export-oriented economy is based on the maritime trade. China is dependent on that. And last but not the least, Megha, there is a nuclear submarine which is sunk. 55 soldiers of the PLA Navy have died. They have not been able to recover this particular submarine, which was supposed to have gone towards Taiwan Strait. Unfortunately, one is wondering as to how it lost its direction. It has gone towards East China Sea. So therefore, there is a big game plan. Okay. China is the elephant in the room.
Important point raised, particularly with regards to the distraction that has been made by China with regards to the Palestine-Israel war, is the submarines and the aircraft carriers that at this point of time are all parked in the East Mediterranean Sea. Their focus has obviously shifted away from Taiwan and the South China Sea and finds its fixture in the Middle East. So Sumit, in terms of the situation that we see, this is a win-win for China, and China is a formidable force. We can't really ignore it.
Megha ji, thanks for having me on your show. What you are seeing, the axis of the evil no longer runs through Iran or Iraq. It always has been selling is People's Republic of China. The biggest threat to world peace is People's Republic of China, and the person who can bring the world warfare is Xi Jinping. It's nobody else. It's not Vladimir Putin, neither is Joe Biden. You see, what does China want? China wants to lower the arsenal level of United States of America. That is when they opened a theater in Middle East. So by moving a lot of arsenal and moving a lot of carriers to the Middle East, the arsenal level of United States of America will go low. The budgets will go low. They have to fund Ukraine, fight Ukraine. They have to fund Middle East and fight in Middle East. That is what is going to happen. Now, incidentally, I want to bring a couple of points to your notice. Now, if you look closely, the Hamas rockets, where does the steel come from? Lingliang Steel Plant, Shandong Province, China. Where have those paragliders come from? They have again come a factory from China. The Jadis were carrying those rocket launchers. The rocket launchers had a Korean marking on it, North Korean marking, again through China. Hamas's relations with China, Commander Mohammad Deif, Elias Yusuf, trained by Chinese PLA, given 2 Chinese wives, and he goes back to Hamas, and one of the Chinese wives loses their leg. She comes back, gets his leg fitted back and goes back to Hamas, and this woman is directly in touch with Xi Jinping's office. Now, if you go to KPK, Haripur, that is where the paragliders were trained. Chetrak is the place wherein Hamas commandos were trained by SSG, because they were fought where they do the training for the Pakistan army. So this China-Pakistan is working coordinatedly in this, and in due course of things, we had a confirmed intel from source base that in next 10 days, ISI will try something big, or in next 25 days, something big within India. And one of the possibilities was a ceasefire violation. Okay. Now, somebody is trying to fix a pole. Why do you use a snapper shot at a person who's trying to fix a pole? They are trying to flare up our LAC and LOC during this point of time on the behest of China, because especially when Prime Minister Modi has said we support Israel, this is how China is trying to open a theater of command from there. They know Americans are busy. They know Europeans are busy. They know Russian president is in China yesterday. Why not to open the box, Pandora's box for India? And don't forget, ma'am, our Diwali and festival season is around the corner. Besides Hindu festivals, there is a big boost of economy which comes in this tenure. And I have been telling on numerous platforms that this is the time when do you expect China to do something? And the last point is, by 15 November, the window closes. After 15 November, there will be snow. China cannot do much. Pakistan cannot do much. This is the time for them to act.
All right. Amjad Ayub Mirza, in terms of the geopolitical play that has been orchestrated by China, and even if it's not been orchestrated, it is willy-nilly in advantage for China and Russia. Now, in such a scenario, the ball's definitely in court of United States of America and the other countries that at this point of time are struggling to fight terrorism. How can we ensure that this war does not play out in advantage of this evil axis that we talk about, and particularly which is then hindering India on both sides of the board, both sides, whether it is the LoC or the line of actual control?
Thank you very much, Megha, for having me, and your august panel has already shed a lot of light on this issue. But let me take you to Pakistani-occupied Jammu Kashmir. Now, for the past 4 years, there were sporadic protests against lack of wheat, against load shedding, and against lack of jobs and opportunities in Pakistani-occupied Jammu Kashmir. But over a period of 4 years, this has all culminated into a perpetual protest movement led now by the Jammu Kashmir Joint Awami Action Committee. Now, what we are seeing now is that there is a consensus in Pakistani-occupied Jammu Kashmir among all social classes and all across the gender as well, that the electricity bills are too high to be, for them to pay because of the added taxes by Pakistan. Now, Pakistan buys electricity from us at the rate of 2 rupees and a few paisas per unit, and then sells us back our electricity from up to 50 to 60 rupees per unit. This is unheard of kind of blatant exploitation of the people. So now what happened is, on the 5th of October, there was a general strike in POJK, and that was a second general strike in a month's time. Then on the 10th of this month, women and children came out all over the state of Pakistani-occupied Jammu Kashmir in protest. Yesterday, despite heavy rain, students held protests all over POJK. And now, on the 22nd of October, we have called for to observe Black Day. And on the 28th, all sections of POJK society are coming out in protest against Pakistani occupation and illegal occupation and taxes and this and that and the other. So now this Gaza, this Hamas attack on Israel, and then Israel's retaliation, Pakistani government is using this to whip up a jihadi sentiment among the people of POJK so that they can divert the civil disobedience movement into like an anti-Israel, anti-India, anti-Hindu movement and diffuse this movement. But they are not going to succeed.
Okay.
Second thing is, they are trying to use this as an excuse that देखो Hamas कैसे इजराइल में घुस गया तो हम भी जो है वो इंडिया में घुसेंगे ऐसे.
Yeah, and the same sentiment. Also the fact that, you don't have to be friends with each other, whether it is Lebanon or Hezbollah or Hamas or Syria. But if you have a common enemy, if you are pro-Jews or pro-Israel, then automatically you become my enemy. That's the game plot that is going on, and China is getting a lot of support. And therefore, the kind of conscious rhetoric that is being played by all these countries, whether it is Russia releasing a statement or China releasing a statement, not even coming out and condemning the attack, not even going about and talking about the two nation solution to it all, not even responding to the fact that there has been a barbaric attack that has taken place. It's a terrorist slaughtering of the people, about 1,400 of them, and there has been no response whatsoever. So again, like I said, there have been two blocks that have been formed, and it is to the disadvantage of India that China plays at the strings of Pakistan to allow for these activities to take place. 3 years long, there was ceasefire, there has been a violation. Major Naljit Dwivedi, how equipped are we to stop these ceasefire violations? Is this a start of a flurry of activities along the line of control with the Pakistani troops playing on an aggressive mode?
Well, Mega Pakistan has always used, and so also China, line of control, line of actual control, and they have violated the treaties and agreements at will. You know what happened in May 2020 when Chinese violated all the 5 agreements and some of these were signed when I was in China as a defense attaché. So therefore, these two nations can never be trusted to honor any agreement. That is the first point I like to make. We should not get complacent that there is an agreement and hence everything is quiet, but that's not the case. Second very important issue is that there's always a larger design when such a violation takes place. So we should have a tentacle up as to what is building across, and some of the issues need to be linked up. After all, you know, if you go back in 2011, and I am a student of West Asia, teach this subject at the universities. In 2011, Obama made a very major strategic decision to shift the potential and shift the emphasis and the weight of American forces from Middle East to the Western Pacific, because that's the time China used that window to actually, bite off most of the South China Sea, and that went unnoticed. So that went against the Chinese design. So they want America to get sucked into Middle East.
Yeah.
They want the Middle East to get active.
keep this war continuing for the longest ever, and therefore, Major General Dwivedi, Major General Sudhakarji, it continues to fester. Now you give enough ammunition to the Hezbollahs and the Hamas terrorist organizations to keep the war simmering along the borders, but not enough to completely one power annihilating the other. Because in such a scenario, US will obviously be in support of Israel, and there'll be only one solution to it, that there is going to be complete destruction along the Gaza Strip, or when it comes to the Golan Heights, or when it comes to the Jordanian border right on the bottom of Israel. Something similar to what Pakistan is facing. It is floundering at this point of time. It's in massive debt crisis, high inflation, lack of food, lack of fuel, and even lack of ammunition. Now here what China is playing in a very strategic manner is provide enough arms and ammunition and funds to allow for war to fester along the line of control, but not enough to then India going on an all-out war against Pakistan.
Excellent, Megha. Fantastic point you have made. I must compliment once again. But the fact of the matter that we need to understand is that there is much more that meets our eyes, actually. It goes beyond our vision, beyond visual distance. Behind all this facade which is going on in the geopolitics, there are many invisible stakeholders and components we need to factor in. There is a deep state in every state today, in the world over. And the deep state is playing a very important role, without coming into the arena that is actually visible to us. So the point that you have made is, I totally in agreement. It is not only in isolation that is the IB sector of India is being activated after a hiatus or a sabbatical of the ceasefire violation for nearly 3 years. All I am trying to highlight here is what is happening there at Gaza Strip has got a linkage with Iran, with North Korea, with China and Pakistan. Call them by any name, the evil of axis or the axis of evil. What is actually standing out is that the geopolitics today is going from bad to worse, consequent to pandemic. Megha, you will bear me out. The economic recession, the rise in price of the fuel, food and the fertilizer, the global south taking the brunt of it, and also the leading economies are no exceptions. They are going through a similar journey.
Right.
Today, I think we need to sit back. Consequent to the G20, India, by the factor of its credibility, I think should lead the race, bring the global order to some kind of a peace and harmony. Otherwise, things will go out of hand. Why am I warning is that
fair enough. You made your point, sir. Sumit, quickly coming to you, last few minutes left into this discussion. The point that India has time and again in the past few months reiterated its position and its goal to take back Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Now, in such a situation, if there is a ceasefire violation and Pakistan continues to support, Pakistan gets continued support from China, is India equipped to follow on its ambitious goal?
You see, Meghaji, POJK and GB is an unfinished agenda for freedom. We have to take it back, but India will choose the time and place of our choosing. Our convenience, our advantage. We will not work to a calendar given by China or Pakistan or any other force in the world. You see, China, when can China support to Pakistan? Up to 15 November. After 15 November, PLA's army can be of no use to Pakistan, and Pakistan knows that. Pakistan is trying to use this window to cause maximum disruption. They have election of 2024 in mind. The deep state and Pakistanis and Chinese do not want Prime Minister Modi to come back to power. So they will go to any extent to stop that, to topple that. You see, yesterday, an Israeli Islamic Jihad rocket misfires on a hospital in Gaza, which had an ammunition dump in the basement of it. You see the kind of havoc they have caused. You see the amount of turbulence the whole Middle East has seen. Embassies in Beirut, embassies in Turkey, the bases in Turkey, embassies of France and UK, all over the Middle East got attacked. Hundreds of thousands of people mobilized. This is exactly the chaos they are trying to create. And they are very, very irked by Prime Minister Modi's unconditional support to Israel, which no Prime Minister has done in the last 75 years. They are seeing a new, changed, resilient India with a muscular foreign policy and a military might. Now Chinese have nothing else. They are using that to Pakistan to cause these panics and these here and there. I fear they might try to do something even within the India next 1 month or so. That is what the intel we have, but we are prepared and we are aware of that.
Okay, all right. Amjad Ayub Mirza, again, the big point of regaining Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. How feasible does this goal seem to you in the next year or so?
Well, I think the time is now and not next year, because Pakistani-occupied Jammu Kashmir is up in turmoil. People are deadly against Pakistan in every protest. Now people are not demanding reduction of electricity bills. They are demanding Pakistan should withdraw. And if India does not intervene at this stage, and as Sumitji said, India will intervene at the time of India's choosing, and not at the time of the people of POJK's choosing, then I think that there will be nothing to bring into the folds of India, and I mean it. Because the people of POJK are now at the verge of declaring self-independence. And if they become independent as an entity by themselves, then they do not see and would not see the need to join India if they become a sovereign state.
But also the difficulties are of being autonomous and being able to survive the onslaught of the Pakistani forces. Yeah, again a difficult choice that will have to be made by the people of POJK, because here you have Pakistan and its troops and its generals who mete out atrocities against human rights violations that are conducted systematically day after day. You see these protests, you see these demonstrations, murders happening, targeted killings, blasphemy cases against teachers and preachers and those who are living in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. So is there a possibility that there can be even the idea of an independent state of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which is going to be then POK, which is also going to be the surrounding areas, Gilgit-Baltistan. So again, the feasibility of it at this point of time is to my understanding, a slippery slope with regards to the aspiration. So yes, we understand the plight of the people. They are suffering. They have been suffering. This is perhaps the peak of it that they have suffered in terms of the outrage that has shown, the outpouring of people coming together, wanting some sort of a solace, some sort of a helping hand. So yeah, so matters at this point of time need to be taken in control by the Indians, by the Indian government. How soon can that happen remains to be seen. But when it comes to ceasefire violation that has at this point of time done by Pakistan, broken after 3 years, then makes us sit back and take notice of this renewed aggression that is being pushed by China and with the hands of Pakistan, trying to dispel, trying to build discord along the line of control.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.